Welcome back. My name is Muligan and this is Xenonauts X-Divison. Last time we finished a medium civilian mission. Oh, right. Wait. I sent you for that. Bam. Just kill it. Yeah, we finished the medium mission. We got civilian chieftain, which is good. So we got some research we could use. Now we are going to a medium mission with our B team because the A team is not able to go back to the base and then to the mission, especially because we lost our tank. So we have to get a new tank. Let's get the ballistic heavy. Study of this should allow us to improve our own design. Just to have this done. A Lenium cannon, fairly simple update, Commander. We've just replaced some of the high explosive found within our vehicle cannon shells with depleted Lenium and fitted a triggering mechanism. Even though the shell form factor is the same as our standard cannon shells, the triggering system is not and requires a slight rework of the internals of the cannon. Engineering should be able to put a few of these together for you, and if you are fielding a lot of vehicles, I suspect it's going to be worth it for you to do so. Enjoy your new cannon. Okay, get the interrogation going. The civilian may have some knowledge of how their computer systems work. Careful questioning will be required. What I really want at this point is I want my medkits. Why do I not have medkits? We have to assign another tank to the Chinook. Can we wait today? No. We are just going in. We are most likely just going to look around. I am not going to assume that we have a good way of fighting whatever this is. This is the B team. The only... I didn't have a tank equipped. The only thing we could have dealt with is maybe seasons. You do not even have a weapon. I don't even have the max number of people equipped. Okay. I did not do a good job of doing stuff with those guys here. You know what? Abandon. We had 13 aliens we should have fought. Huh. Because I abandoned, all those civilians survived. This was an excellent mission. We didn't get any money. But it doesn't seem like the forecast has changed at all. Huh, let's see. This is probably where we started the mission. I wanted to load. Okay, this is where we're not in the mission anymore. This is the ground combat. The one before that. I just want to know, is anything changing? Do we have to do ground missions? Okay, so we have 46k. 106k in this area. Engage. I don't think this does anything. Maybe if we killed an alien? Which is hard to really test at this point. Yeah, we don't even see anything. Okay, abort. Everyone survived. No change. So maybe we only change the funding with downing UFOs, not really with clearing those wreckages. South America is going down quite a bit. I don't really know why. As the rifle is finished, we need a new Hunter Scout car. Fighter finished. We have a lot of fighter. We have more than enough here. We are going to send over one to North America, then they are fully equipped, and we make another one in our base. After, we have to disassemble a couple light scout UFOs. And by a couple I mean 2. Because all of these take 2. Andron Guard disassembly. We have examined the Andron Guard extensively and have made some conclusions. The unit has a resilience comparable to a strong organic unit, but they move fairly slowly. Being robotic, they are impossible to stun or suppress. They have a good armor that provides them with virtually immunity to chemical damage, a very good protection against kinetic damage, good protection against energy damage, and a comparatively weak protection against incendiary damage. By taking the Andron Guard apart, we have been able to produce a process blah blah blah. So fire is good. Fire is really good. Okay, good, noted. The Robodog Guard is a puzzling enemy unit. While a quadruped makes a lot more sense than a bipedal Andron, it still doesn't make a lot of sense to mimic biological functionality to this degree, down to a bite that is less lethal than it could be. The Robodog Guard has a resilience comparable to a strong biological unit and has a speed comparable to a top-trained soldier. The unit is well armored, but not equally against all kinds of damage. Chemical resistance is likely impossible to overcome, and the kinetic resistance is very good. So using kinetic attacks are likely to just wear away a little armor. Both the energy and incendiary resistance is strong, but at least it's on a level that should be possible to overcome. In fact, the unit might actually have some marginal damage if walking through fire. Take some marginal damage. Reports from the field indicate that Robodogs hatch from boxes. Presumably based on some kind of timer, we are unlikely to be able to access and to predict the timing of the release. The boxes are capable of moving a single tile per turn, and do not register as being hostile. Where a box can be destroyed, the only thing you get out of it is a premature release of a fully formed Robodog and loss of ammunition destroying the box. By studying the remains, we can retrieve one ballistic and energy core. So even if I destroy a box, I only get a Robodog. Now, granted, if we can destroy all the surrounding boxes before the other ones quote-unquote hatch, we have at least a little bit of a staggered assault. Instead of 5 at one time, we have to fight 2 and then 3. Okay, we are going to get the pistol going and chieftains of vivisection. The civilian chieftains wear a more complete set of armor when compared to their soldiers. The armor itself appears to be the same grade of quality, but because there's more to it to work with, we hope to be able to extract more usable resources from the subject. There we go, we got... The Robodogs are really good for cores. That is true. They are really good. Okay, another machine gun. So I guess we want maybe pulse laser or a cannon for the defender. We can make one. Where do we have these? This is where we get, there we go. No aircraft. Grenades, explosives, vehicle, phase weapons. Selenium cannon, selenium rockets. Let's make a cannon. Doesn't take too long, luckily. And ballistic heavy, this is the bin equivalent to a heavy machine gun, only more deadly. Doesn't give us anything, gets a weaker pulse laser. And we've come up with a design for an energy-based vehicle weapon based on our research into laser technology. Scaling is an issue, but if successful, we should be able to integrate it into the Defender chassis. I want to check. Now, end ones are resistance against energy, but not as much as kinetic. Seasons, I don't really know. What is your resistance? I believe it doesn't really tell me what their resistance against, right? They're just all around, not really all that strong. They can regenerate. Maybe switching to laser would be a good idea. I don't know. Tank wreckage. As your men have already discovered, Commander, the tank can take a lot of punishment before being destroyed. Yes, like 600 damage. An exhaustive examination of the tank wreckage has yielded some concrete results though. We have determined that the unit is almost invulnerable to chemical damage and very resistant to kinetic damage. Incendiary damage resistance is quite good, while the energy damage protection is comparatively weak. So we have to... That is why maybe the flashbangs were so easy, so strong. Reaper classes, so that was a bad business with Hawking's commander. I'm certain she was intending to breach the quarantine seals on the season subject we've had under study. Thankfully, she opened the Reaper larvae maturation pod instead. The silver lining on this cloud is that we have been able to closely study the effects of Reaper larvae metamorphosis on humans. Pursuant to your request on more information about Reapers, I have drawn together what we know about their class structure and appended what data we have on Reaper zombies and well. Alpha Reaper. As if the standard Reaper weren't bad enough, we have identified certain Reapers who are faster, stronger, and more resilient than their common brethren. These Alpha Reapers are relatively few in numbers, but they are just as whatever as a standard Reaper. Left unchecked, they can reduce cities to gibbering zombie hordes in short order. The Alpha Reaper is identifiable by its lighter hue. Zombie. The zombie resembles a hunchback waxwork that's been stood too close to the fire. Facial features run together and the limbs become elongated, muscle-bound and misshapen. The hunch from which the rapidly maturing Reaper will birth from is lined with blotchy veins. In this state, zombies can do little more than swing their limbs by screaming in pain and rage. Killing a zombie before a Reaper has hatched will kill the Reaper as well, however. What? Since when? It never worked that way. You kill the zombie, Reaper is there. Maybe they changed that. Alpha zombies. The alpha zombies are superficially the same shape as the regular ones, but the processes which create the alpha supercharge the zombie. Their shapes are more capable of bearing the extra load of an alpha, and as a consequence they are faster, stronger and more resilient. Be very careful if your own troops are infected, Commander. While they don't have the brains to use their weapons, they still wear the tattered remains of their armor, and it will provide more protection than the torn clothing that graces civilian zombies. Yeah, Reaper suck. They just do. Laser pistol MK1. Infantry laser weapons previously existed only in the realms of science fiction. Any laser powerful enough to be a viable combat weapon would need a battery the size of a truck, the word impractical being an understatement. The arrival of alien technology has changed all of this. The enormous energy content of an aluminum crystal allows a battery no larger than a standard ammunition magazine to generate up to a dozen laser beams. each capable of burning through an inch of steel. Superconducting ceramics can be used to cool the weapon, storing the waste heat from each shot and dissipating slowly enough to avoid injury, provided one is careful where they place their hands. This eliminates the need for bulky refrigeration units, reducing the size and weight of the weapon significantly. In order to minimize adjustment times for our troops, our laser weapons have been designed to operate like conventional firearms and have similar range and accuracy to their predecessor. There are some notable differences. Most obviously, the improved damage thermal shock weapons inflict upon their targets. Improved damage thermal shock. Less favorably, a laser weapon will have roughly half the ammunition capacity of a ballistic weapon. In order to streamline this process, we have designed a single standardized battery for all of our laser weapons. The design is not complex, a cylindrical steel jacket that contains an aluminum crystal and locks into the weapon with a simple twist. These power cells are trivial to manufacture compared to the weapons themselves, so are available in effectively unlimited quantities. Yeah, but aluminum normally is not, but sure. Be aware that manufacturing these weapons consumes a large amount of alien alloys and is both expensive and time-consuming. But I still believe they represent a good investment despite this. At the very least, some new toys may raise morale amongst your men. Laser pistol is the beginning of the energy weapon era. Consider that this weapon are not more powerful than our first ballistic weapons. They are just good against aliens with ballistic resistance. Carbine. While we've managed to successfully invent laser pistols and rifles, some of your recruits were complaining about having to use standard 12-gauge shotguns. Well, I have a plan to remedy that. That you do. The Reaper Autopsy. The Reaper is a 6-foot-tall insectoid nightmare with chitin blades strong enough to pierce steel and a particularly horrific method of reproduction. It is a biological weapon of mass destruction, a monster that spreads death and terror in equal measure. Each Reaper is a parasitic creature that reproduces both through implanting larvae inside other living organisms. Okay. These larvae secrete a chemical that disrupts the nervous system of the victim, leaving them shambling around in a state of damned half-life, while the larvae gestate rapidly inside their body and metabolize it from within. Within a couple of minutes, a fully developed Reaper will burst free from the remnants of its host and head off in search of fresh victims, and implausibly short gestation period to occur naturally, so presumably alien technology has been used to accelerate it in some manner. In any case, this ability is highly troubling. The unfortunate host is likely to find the process unpleasant in the extreme, and it potentially allows those creatures to multiply quickly on the battlefield. They are well adapted to the role of finding and infesting their victims, possessing well-developed sensory organs and the ability to move across the battlefield with inhuman speed. Wiry but extremely strong, the beast can easily generate enough force to penetrate personal armor, with the large blades protruding from their shoulders. These blades are actually hollow, containing a muscular tube that houses the larvae and neurotoxin fluid to be injected into the victim once the blades have torn on an opening into their flesh. A successful attack may be all that is required to reduce the victim to a hideous zombie, whatever personal armor they may be wearing. However, it seems the victim's immune systems are able to fight off the larvae if the attack isn't sufficiently strong to neutralize the victim. Despite this horrific multiplication, these primal horrors have obvious weaknesses, a lack of ranged weaponry, and the relative fragility of their chitin plates leaves them vulnerable if caught in the open or sighted at a distance. They also possess only rudimentary swarm intelligence, making them fearless and difficult to suppress, but incapable of advanced tactics. This is truer still for the zombie host, which apparently simply lumber towards the nearest target and attempt to club them to death with their swollen fist. a lot of autopsies and Reaper knowledge. Do we have enough for the last fighter? We do. Okay, and can we get more wolf armor? Yes. Even if we get potentially new armor. Laser Carbine MK1. This is our first attempt to create an energy equivalent to the shotgun, and has provided a particular challenge in that the whole laser production process consists of aligning the laser light to a tight spot. So splitting it into multiple beams required some rather fancy optic gadgetry. Which is still sturdy enough that the troops shouldn't need to be excessively careful with it. It provides almost twice as much power as the standard shotgun and does it using energy, which aliens seem to have less resistance to than kinetic damage. The ammo capacity is slightly lower though, and some alien alloys are used in its manufacture. That is why we go for the Laser Carbine MK2. We believe we can enhance the damage output of our laser shotgun. It will still be very short range though, so remind your troops to be careful. Don't want to build the MK1s. Not upgradable. Fighter finished. Nice. Okay, so a fighter is Fighter is equipped autocannon and sidewinder, which is just a rocket. So we are going to make Elenium missiles. We need 5 for our base, 5 for the American, and I believe 4 for the African base. No, 5. Okay. Yep. So 15, and then we provide them to the other bases. Civilian Chieftain interrogation. I'm not sure what we have gained from the interrogation of the Civilian Chieftain Commander. We have certainly gained bits and pieces as well as insights, but it's all fragmentary. The captor's information seems to be on the brink of providing starting points for several different research projects, but we come up just short on all avenues. It seems we would need access to the craft's encrypted data to be able to make progress on civilian technology. Civilian Data Hack 2. The encryption of the civilian weapons system is frustratingly hard to break. Hell, it might not even be encrypted at all. It's just in a language we don't yet understand. However, it's not all bad news. One of my techs tried entering a phrase used by your latest civilian captive into the computer and seems to have access to some data on ballistics. This data is still encrypted, but with some study I think we can decipher some of it and unlock MK3s. I hope. But we have to wait for next episode, and then we probably have to run a couple missions, but as soon as research finishes, I'm going to put everything in Civilian Data Hack 2. So stay tuned, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.